recited the deities. Yeah. Special thanks to Gandharvika Mataji, who did a lot of work on redoing the deities, and the deities look really, really wonderful today. And I'm very thankful to all of you for kindly being present here, dear devotees. I am in the presence of many near and dear ones here today. So thank you, dear devotees, for kindly being here. I'll begin with Jai Radha Madhav, and then I'll try to speak something today about the best definition of bhakti. Devotees. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Thank you very much, dear devotees, for kindly being present here today. Today I'd like to speak upon the best definition of bhakti, because many of us, most of us here are practicing bhakti yoga. So it is very important for us to also know that if we are practicing bhakti yoga, then what is the exact definition of bhakti yoga? It's a very simple topic, but seemingly when we try to define bhakti, it can be slightly tricky. So I'd like to ask a question. Most of us have read the Bhagavad Gita. So in the Bhagavad Gita, do we find a definition of bhakti? Is there a definition of bhakti in the Bhagavad Gita? And is there a verse which defines bhakti in the Bhagavad Gita? Yes, if there is a verse, please, you can raise your hand and speak the verse. Yes, Mataji? Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yascha asmi tattva. So that verse says, by bhakti I am understood as I am in reality, in tattva. So that verse says that what will bhakti achieve? At the same time, we are looking for a definition. See, a definition has a very specific nature. A definition means there are some characteristics and then there is the term to be defined. For example, if we want to define, let's say if we want to define what is a tree, so then we will say it has this, it has leaves, it has branches, it has a trunk, and it has a specific color, and that is known as a tree. So definition should consist of two parts. First, characteristics. Second, the term to be defined. So is there such a verse? Maybe the verse Mataji pointed out says what bhakti does. But is there a verse which specifies what are the characteristics of bhakti and then says that this is bhakti? That sort of a verse we are looking for. That sort of a definition we are looking for.
Bhagavad Gita, the last chapter 12, Yetu dharmamritam idam yatoktam paripasate priyaganinatartham aham.
Okay. But in that verse, the term bhakti is not present at all.
Not culminates in the whole thing that is told.
Agreed?
Yetu dharmamritam idam.
Okay. Yetu dharmamritam idam. That those who speak of this nectar to others, basically. And let's point out this verse. Everybody can see the screen? Yetu dharmamritam idam yathoktam pariupasate Shraddhana mat parama bhaktaste ativa me priya. 12.20. Yep. So the translation says those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and those who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. So this verse just says that the devotees are dear to me, very dear to me. But what is bhakti?
In the Bhagavad Gita, it is not there.
Oh, my goodness. It's not there in the Bhagavad Gita. We are distributing for millions in December. And somebody asks us, hey, which yogi are you? Bhakti yogi. Acha, show me bhakti in the Bhagavad Gita. Oh, the definition is not there, sir. So, if we try to find a lot in the 700 verses of the Bhagavad Gita, a specific definition saying that this is bhakti may not be found. Therefore, there are other texts which try to define bhakti specifically. One such text is Narada Bhakti Sutra. And Srila Prabhupada tried to translate this text, Narada Bhakti Sutra. Now, I will show Narada Bhakti Sutra, and in the Narada Bhakti Sutra there is a section specifically for bhakti. So this is Narada Bhakti Sutra, and in Narada Bhakti Sutra there is a specific section defining bhakti. Dear devotees, you can see it on the screen. Now, this is a special section simply for defining bhakti. So let's try to define bhakti. Narada Bhakti Sutra is trying to define what is bhakti. Let's see what it says. This is Sutra number 15, dear devotees. I will utter the sutra, please repeat after me. Tallakshanaani vachyante nana matbhedat tat lakshanani. Lakshana means characteristics. So those characteristics of bhakti, vachyante, will now be explained. Because when you have to give a definition, you have to give the characteristics of that entity which is being defined. So the characteristics of bhakti will not be now be given, but Narad Muni makes a declaration. Nana Matabhedad. Already there are many differences of opinion. Please bear with me. Many differences of opinion are there in defining bhakti. So, are we going to get one definition or multiple definitions? Because already many differences of opinion have arisen. So, alright, let's see what is the translation. Translation is, now the characteristics of devotional service will be described according to various authoritative opinions. Now, Sutra 16. Please repeat after me. Pujadishu Anuraga Iti Parasharya. Now, first person is Parasharya, the son of Parashar Muni. Who is the son of Parashar Muni? Vyasadeva. So, Parasharya refers to Vyasadeva. Now, first is Vyasadev's definition. See what a nice guru. Who is the guru of Vyasadeva? Narada Muni gives his own disciples' definition first. Parasharya. So, first comes my disciple's definition. What is his definition? Anuragaha, deep attachment. In what? Puja adishu, puja etc., worship etc. of the Lord is known as bhakti. So deep attachment for worship etc. of the Lord is bhakti. Says who? Yes. Now, question arises. We agree that deep attachment for worship of the Lord is bhakti. What about other limbs of bhakti? What about wearing a garland? Is wearing a garland bhakti? Yes or no? I just given garland by Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yes, so true, but that is not defined in Narad Bhakti Sutra. It's not there in Narad Bhakti Sutra. So many limbs of bhakti are there. Many devotees, they are driving a car for the sake of service of Krishna. Is driving a car for Krishna bhakti?
Yes.
Says who? Vyasadeva doesn't say. Vyasadeva never says. So, is this definition touching upon all the aspects or only one aspect of bhakti?
Only one aspect.
Now, also another thing, worship of the Lord is bhakti. What about worship of the devotees? Is worship of the devotees bhakti?
Yes.
So every morning we have Guru Puja. Guru Puja is worship of the Lord or worship of the devotee of the Lord? Is that bhakti or not bhakti? Nothing. Never said here anything. It's just a worship of the Lord. So we got one definition. Therefore Narad Muni says, I will not settle on one definition. Multiple definitions will be given. Let's move ahead. Sutra 17. Please repeat after me. Kathadishu Iti Gargaha. Now whose opinion is being given? Garga Muni. Garga Muni says, Katha Adishu. From the previous sutra, one term is taken, borrowed. Anuraga. Which term is borrowed from the previous sutra? Anuraga. Previous sutra had a term. Please look here. Previous sutra had a term Anuraga. In order to save space, that term is borrowed in the next sutra. This is technically called Anuvritti. So Anuraga comes down. Kathadishu Anuraga. Deep attachment for Katha etc. of the Lord is bhakti. Says who? And what about Katha of the devotees? It's not defined. What about wearing a garland? Driving a car? Making a phone call for Krishna? Are all of these bhakti? Yes or no?
Yes.
Says who? Rupa Goswami. Really? Rupa Goswami says driving a car is bhakti?
Krishna,
Really? Really? When Rupa Goswami wrote Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, cars were not invented. Rupa Goswami would have to be really a big visionary in order to have driving cars as service to Krishna. Alright. But we have not yet finished the definition. We'll hold that point. Sutra 18. Please repeat after me. Atmarati Avirodhena Iti Shandilya. Now comes Shandilya Muni. Says, I will define bhakti also. What is bhakti? Avirodhena. By not having any obstacles to rati, to feeling pleasure in Atma. Atma here refers to Paramatma, super soul. To feeling attraction towards the super soul in the heart. To not have any obstacles in the attachment to the super soul within the heart. That is bhakti. According to which Muni? Shandilya. So this is the translation. Chandelier says that bhakti results from one's removing all obstructions to taking pleasure in the Supreme Self. Again, another definition centered around the Lord. No mention about the devotees. Narad Muni, after seeing all these definitions, he gives his own definition. Let's see the final definition by Narad Muni. Please repeat after me. Naradastu tad arpita akhila acharata tad vismarane parama vyakulata iti. Naradastu. Tu means Narad, however, says. Now Narad is giving his authoritative opinion. Therefore he puts tu. However, Narad says, what is bhakti? Tad arpita akhila acharata. Offering all of one's activities unto him. Unto whom? Supreme Lord. Any mention about the devotees? Tad vismarane. And in forgetting him, parama vyakulata. Experiencing great anxiety when we forget the Lord. So two things are bhakti. Offering all of one's activities to Bhagavan and experiencing great distress in forgetting Bhagavan. These are bhakti. Now, the translation says, Narad, however, says that bhakti consists of offering one's every act to the Supreme Lord and feeling extreme distress in forgetting Him. Now, somebody may ask Narad Muni, alright, dear Narad Muni, we had 4 definitions: Vyasadeva, Garga, Chandelier Muni, and yourself. Now, if somebody asks us how many definitions are valid, which one of these is valid, Narad Muni gives the next sutra, and this sutra says, please repeat after me. Asti evam evam. Asti evam evam. Bhakti is in fact correctly described in each of these ways. Alright. So, Prabhu, your name?
Hari.
Hari Prabhu. So, Prabhu, how many definitions should we keep in our pocket if somebody asks us?
At least these 4.
These 4 we should keep. Somebody asks us, what is bhakti? So we should say, Pujadishu anuraga iti parasharya, kathadishu iti gargaha, atmarati avirodhena iti shandilyaha, naradastu tad arpita akhila charata tad vismarane parama vyakulata iti. And final sutra, asti evam evam. Does that sound good?
Complicated.
Still, service of devotees is not mentioned. Still, we have some patchwork of definitions. Does that sound good, Prabhu? Yes. So, the Acharyas recognized that one definition of bhakti is needed which covers all aspects of bhakti. 360 degrees. Nothing left out. Absolutely no activity left out. Future proof. 24 karat gold definition of bhakti. This definition was made by our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharya, Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami wrote a text named Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, because the text itself is about bhakti. So shouldn't a text about bhakti define bhakti? Yes. So Rupa Goswami says, I will define bhakti, but please note, I will not simply define bhakti. I will define a special variety of bhakti. So he composes a verse, and this verse is a very standard verse which we might have heard many times. There is a lot of secret in the verse, dear devotees. This verse is a very commonly quoted verse. I'll sing it, please repeat after me. Anya vilashita shunyam Jnana karma dhyanavritam Anukulyena krishnanu Sheelanam bhaktiruttama Nilmani Prabhu, he said krishnanu sheelanam. There's nothing about a devotee. Who's Anushilan Prabhuji? Whose service?
Favorable to Krishna.
Krishna.
Favorable, but when you do favorable to Krishna, Krishna's devotees included.
Really? Does it need such a big commentary, Prabhu? Shouldn't it be directly mentioned in the verse itself? Like we have to really stretch it out. Like favorable to Krishna means favorable to devotees, therefore service to devotees is service to Krishna. That's an entire commentary in itself, Prabhu. But the verse itself should say something. Alright. Prabhuji is driving a car. Does it seem to be? Alright, so we have to see what is the definition of bhakti. Rupa Goswami says, alright, I will define bhakti and all of you please test the definition to the maximum possible extent. Rupa Goswami says, I will define not only bhakti, I am going to define one special variation of bhakti. Which variation of bhakti? You can see here, Bhaktir Uttama. I am going to define Uttama bhakti. Which bhakti? Uttama with the long A. Because bhakti is a lady. Names of ladies in Vedic culture don't end with short A. They end with long A, E, U, but never with a short A. So, those Vaishnavis who are initiated, you can see your name. None of the initiated names will end with a short A. They will either end with a long A. So, is it Uttama Bhakti or Uttama Bhakti?
Uttama.
Uttama Bhakti. What is the meaning of Uttama? Topmost. Purest. So, Rupa Goswami says, I will not define Bhakti. I will define which Bhakti? Uttama Bhakti. Why Uttama Bhakti only, Rupa Goswami? Because I am writing this book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu for my near and dear ones. Hari Prabhu is near and dear to me. Hari Prabhu says, Hari Parsad Das, get me a glass of water. So should I bring 4 glasses of water in front of Hari Prabhu and say, Hari Prabhu, 4 glasses of water. Glass 1, fully impure water. Glass 2, half impure water. Glass 3, almost pure water with little impurities. And glass 4, fully pure water. Hari Prabhu, should I bring 4 glasses or 1 glass? Why?
Just the fourth.
Just a 4th one? But all of that is also water, Prabhu. Which water do you want? Fully pure water. So, if I am near and dear to him, I want to benefit him. Therefore, I will give him water, only water, and nothing else but water. In the United States, we say the truth, only the truth, and nothing but the truth. Why? Isn't it enough to say the truth? Sometimes the truth is mixed with a lot of falsities. So therefore the truth, only the truth, nothing but the truth. Bhakti, only bhakti and nothing but bhakti should be defined. That is which bhakti, dear devotees? Uttama bhakti. So I will define Uttama bhakti. Alright, what is Uttama bhakti? So see, the term to be defined is included in the verse. First thing, the term to be defined should be included in the verse. That is included. Second, the characteristics are given. There are 3 characteristics. Please hear the 3 characteristics. Please repeat the first characteristic after me. Anyabhilashita shunyam. Shunyam. Shunyam means the person who is practicing bhakti, his heart should be shunyam, devoid of anya abhilashita, other desires. His heart should be completely free of which desires? No, Rupa Goswami. It should have been sarva abhilashita shunyam. It should be free from all desires. Yes or no? No? Why anya abhilashita shunyam? It should be, heart should be free of all desires or other desires? Oh, nice. So, anya abhilashita shunyam, a heart free of other desires. Other than what? Other than the desire to perform bhakti. So all desires besides the desire to perform bhakti should become completely zero. I hope you are able to understand. Only one sort of desire should remain in the heart. Which desire? Desire to perform bhakti. If he says sarvabhilashita shunyam, all desire should be zero, then desire to perform bhakti will also become what? Zero. Then the definition itself has no point. Therefore, anya abhilashita shunyam, all desires besides the desire to perform bhakti should become zero. Now, somebody may say, is there anybody who fulfills this criteria? Anybody here who can claim their heart is completely free of all desires besides the desire to perform bhakti? Nobody is raising their hand. So definition doesn't work. Very ideal, lofty definition. Very lofty. So what is the point of giving such a lofty definition if nobody fits into it? Almost nobody fits into it. Why give such a big, lofty definition? Anya abhilashita shunyam. All other desires should become zero. So the reason is that because this is a textbook definition, dear devotees, and textbook definitions have to be ideal. Like in my engineering, unfortunately I did engineering. Sorry, my sincere apologies. I did engineering. I am ashamed of myself. In my engineering, I was taught physics, and they taught me formulae for projectile motion. If you throw an object from here at certain degrees of angle, where will it land up? In my entire life, I never used it, but yes, I was taught how to do that. So now there is a formula given in the textbook. Now, Hari Prabhu, if I use that formula in real life, will I get the exact same result or some deviations?
Deviations.
So then we should change the formula in the textbook. Yes?
You cannot account for everything.
Oh my goodness. So just because in real life you get a result different from the ideal doesn't mean that you change the textbook definition. So we should try to rise up to the textbook definition. Not that we bring the textbook definition down to our levels. Otherwise in few generations, Anyabhilashita Shunyam will change to, Sarvabhilashita Purnam, full of all desires. That will happen in few generations. So that should not happen. So, Anyabhilashita Shunyam, free of all other desires besides the desire to perform bhakti. Second characteristic, please repeat after me. Jnana karmadhyanavritam. Avritam means covered. Dear devotees, if this table is covered with a cloth, we will call it avritam. Right now this table is not covered with a cloth. So it is avritam or anavritam? Anavritam, not covered. So not covered by other desires. So the devotee's heart should not be covered by other desires. Other desires such as what? Jnana, karma, adi, etc. Adi, etc. includes many other things. Sankhya, yoga, astrology, many other things. So for example, what is the meaning of this? There are some devotees who are practicing bhakti, but they think bhakti is okay, but main thing is to do your karma. Such people's hearts, the bhakti is covered by which philosophy? Karma. Some other people think bhakti is okay. Main thing is to have knowledge of the Upanishads and Shastras. Otherwise, what is the use of performing bhakti? Such people's bhakti has become covered by what? Jnana. Some other people think bhakti is okay, but get your astrological rings correct, Hari Prabhu. Otherwise, bhakti will not save you at the time of distress. Such people's bhakti has become covered by adi, etc. Some other people think bhakti is okay, but first ensure your fitness. Perform some Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is must for performing bhakti. Such people's bhakti has become covered by adi, etc. Ashtanga Yoga. So, in the heart of the Uttama devotee or the best devotee, bhakti is never covered by others. Bhakti covers other philosophies. For example, such a person thinks karma is okay, but the main thing is to perform bhakti. Jnana is okay, knowledge of Upanishads is okay, but the main thing is to perform bhakti. Jyotish, astrology is okay in its place, but the main thing is to perform bhakti. So in these cases, what is happening? Bhakti is covering other philosophies. It is covering karma, bhakti is covering jnana, bhakti is covering etc. So that is good. But when other philosophies cover bhakti, that is not desirable. So these are the first two characteristics. Dear devotees, did we notice something in the first two characteristics? First two characteristics are negative characteristics. Anya abhilashita, devoid, negative characteristics. Jnana, karma, adi, not covered by. So are these positive characteristics or negative characteristics? If everything about bhakti is negative, then what is positive? It's very important to understand. Bhakti is about always focusing on the negatives or also having something positive. Positive, dear devotees. The first two characteristics are negative. Shouldn't we have something positive? Yes. So what is the positive characteristic? Is the third characteristic, the most important characteristic. Please repeat after me. Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhaktiruttama. So, third characteristic is Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam. And what remains is the term to be defined. Which term is being defined? Uttama Bhakti. So, third characteristic is Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam. So, dear devotees, please hear this carefully. Anukulyena Krishna Anu Shilanam. We break it down. When we translate it into English, we have to do it reverse. Okay. First comes the term Shilanam. Can you see here the term, dear devotees, Shilanam? What is the meaning of the term Shilanam?
Practical.
Okay. The term Shilanam comes from the verbal root Shila. Which verbal root? Shila. Shila Upadharane, which means to practice. Shila means to practice. Now, dear devotees, practice can be of only one activity, or can we practice any activity in the world? We can practice any activity in the world. Dear devotees, the term Shilanam, please hear this very carefully. The term Shilanam is made from the verbal root Shila. Shila means to practice. Practice can be performed of any activity. So Shilanam basically means practicing any activity. I hope you are able to understand. Practicing which activity? Now, is driving a car included in Shilanam? Is making a phone call included in Shilanam? So all activities are included in the term Shilanam. So Shilanam means practice of any activity. Now somebody may say, okay, I will once, chant Hare Krishna. So I have performed Shilanam. Have I performed of Shilanam or not? Yes. Then call me Uttama Bhakta. No, Rupa Goswami says Anu Shilanam. He adds Anu. What is the meaning of Anu? Repeatedly. Again and again. Repeated practice of any activity. Okay, not only Anu Shilanam. Krishna Anu Shilanam. Repeated practice of any activity in relation to whom? Is known as what? Uttama Bhakti. Not simply Bhakti. Which Bhakti? Uttama Bhakti. Now, is there any activity which is left out in Krishna Anu Shilanam? Shilanam means practicing any activity. Rupa Goswami made the definition future proof because he knew that all activities will be included in the term Shilanam. Any activity left out, dear devotees? When Rupa Goswami wrote the verse, mobile phones were not invented. But Shilanam includes the sense of all activities. So is there any activity left out?
Anything pratikul to Krishna is excluded.
Yes, yeah?
Anything pratikul to Krishna is excluded. Only Anukulya and Krishna.
That's all right. We have not yet come to Anukulyena. I am saying any activity excluded.
No.
All activities are included. Okay. Now comes Prabhu's point. Somebody may say Kamsa was thinking 24 hours about Krishna. Right? So is Kamsa's activity also Uttama Bhakti? Yes or no? Shishupal was every day making new names for Krishna. So, is Shishupal's activity also included in Bhakti? No. Because Sri Rupa Goswami adds an adverb. What adverb? Anukulyena. Favorably. All these activities should be performed favorably. Favorably to whom? To the devotee or to Krishna? Krishna. Very important. Favorable from whose point of view? Krishna's point of view. Not from the devotee's point of view. Not necessarily from the devotee's point of view. It may be favorable to the devotee also. But main favorability should be whose favorability? Krishna's favorability. That is what is the main criteria. Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhakti Uttama. Now, dear devotees, any activity left out? Open question for everyone. You can raise your hand if you know any activity which is left out. All right.
The activities to Krishna's devotees is not there.
Oh, right. I forgot. day we tested all the other definitions we tested against one criteria. That what about service to Krishna's devotees? Is there anything about Krishna's devotees here? Anukulyena, who's Anushilanam? Krishna Anushilanam. Direct service to whom? Krishna. What about Krishna's devotees? That is not included.
But isn't service to devotees of Krishna, pure devotees of Krishna, included in the Shilanam? Because it's Anukul to Krishna.
Alright. I agree, it's Anukul to Krishna. But aren't we stretching it out here by saying, doesn't it include devotees of Krishna? Somebody will tomorrow say, doesn't it include the material world, because material world is also related to Krishna. So service to material world will become Uttama Bhakti. Yes, Mataji?
But the first two lines, Anya Bilashita, that is there, and if you look at the whole verse in context,
Okay.
could we come to that conclusion?
Sure. But doesn't the definition need to cover all aspects within itself? Or should a definition need a commentator to explain the aspects? A definition should have all the aspects, right? So this doubt came in the mind of another devotee. His name was Srila Jiva Goswami. Srila Jiva Goswami, he was present when Sri Rupa Goswami was writing this definition. What was Sri Jiva Goswami doing when Sri Rupa Goswami was writing this definition? Sri Jiva Goswami was standing right next to him and fanning the author. The commentator was fanning the author at that time. Sri Jiva Goswami asked Rupa Goswami that Sri Rupa Goswami, where is the service of devotees included in this? Rupa Goswami said, I have already included it. Jiva Goswami said, where have you included? I cannot see. Rupa Goswami said, yes, definitely you will be able to see. Look carefully at the term Krishna Anushilanam. I hope you are able to understand. Which term is it? Krishna Anushilanam. Now please look at the screen, dear devotees. And
Anu is also for, you can say follow, right? Following.
oh,
The
nice.
way is follow your techniques.
Very nice. I am not able to see who said it. Yes, Mataji. So, we'll break it down, Mataji. Just please have a look here. The term is, please see here, Krishna Anu Shilana. All of you can see this? Rupa Goswami said, this term breaks down in two ways. How many ways, dear devotees? Two ways. What is the first way? The first way is, please repeat after me, Krishna Artham Anushilanam. What is the meaning of this? Krishna Artham, directly for Krishna. Or Anushilanam, directly for whom? Second meaning, please repeat after me. Krishna Sambandhi Anushilanam. Anushilanam for any entity related to Krishna. Krishna Sambandhi Anushilanam. So Krishna Anushilanam breaks down in how many ways? Krishna Artham Anushilanam, Krishna Sambandhi Anushilanam. Which means direct service for Krishna and service for any entity related to Krishna. Not only the devotee. Is the temple related to Krishna?
Yes.
So, cleaning the temple, is Krishna Artham Anushilanam or Krishna Sambandhi Anushilanam? Krishna Sambandhi Anushilanam. Serving the Guru, is it Krishna Artham Anushilanam or Krishna Sambandhi Anushilanam? Okay. Worship directly of the deity, is it Krishna Artham Anushilanam or Krishna Sambandhi Anushilanam? Krishna Artham Anushilanam. I hope you are able to understand. Now somebody may say, are you allowed to insert terms like this in between? Like how? Where in grammar? In Sanskrit grammar, are you allowed to insert terms like this? So in Sanskrit grammar, you are allowed to do that. It is called as a Madhyam Padalopi Samas. A combined term with the middle term missing. There is a unique type of combined term in Sanskrit. A combined term with the middle term missing. Let me give an example. One of the Pandavas is named Bhima. Everybody knows who is Bhima? Yes? What is Bhima's complete name with surname? His name is Bhima, first name is Bhima, and his last name is Pandava. Surname is what? Pandava. So his name is Bhima Pandava. But is that his complete name? What was Bhima's complete name? Bhima Sen. So Bhima Pandava finally expands as what? Bhima Sena Pandava. I hope you are able to understand. Where was the middle term? Middle term was missing. This is known as Madhyam Padalop. A compound term where the middle term is missing.
But that is a proper noun, that is acceptable.
Yes, so this is also a proper noun. Krishna Anushilam.
Krishna Sambandhi is not a proper noun.
Yes, of course it is. Sambandha with the suffix ine. Sambandha with the suffix in is become sambandhin. And when it is combined in a samas, compound term, the final n, na lopa pratipadikantasya, from the sutra, the final na is removed. Therefore, Krishna Sambandhi Anushilanam. Of course it is a Jiva Goswami sitting right there. He would have definitely pointed out that it is not a proper term. It is definitely a proper term. So, for those who have learned Sanskrit, the classical example is given Shaka Parthiva. Shaka means leafy vegetable. Parthiva means prince. Is there any connection between leafy vegetable and prince? The term simply says leafy vegetable and prince. Shaka Parthiva. Acharya says Shaka Bhoji Parthiva. Shaka Bhoji means a prince who consumes Shaka. The Bhoji was missing in between. So that is why. Bhojin with the in at the end. Krishna Sambandhin with the in at the end. Krishna Sambandhi Anushulanam. Sorry for the technical grammar details. So, now dear devotees, is service to devotees included in Krishna Anushilanam? Service to the temple? Service to any living entity or any entity directly related to Krishna? Yes. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. Dear devotees, this is a definition which has all aspects of bhakti, all activities of bhakti, past, present and future, all of them covered under one definition, 360 degrees, nothing left out, 24 karat gold definition of bhakti by our Acharya Srila Rupa Goswami. Yes, Rupa.
The second one, the Sambandhi Anushilanam, it says any entity related to Krishna. You could argue any non-devotee or any non-devotional thing is also related to Krishna through Paramatma, for example.
Paramatma?
Like Paramatma is in everybody, so if I serve my boss and serving bhakti related to Krishna, like.
Sure.
But is that Uttama Bhakti? Like?
Sure. Therefore, the term put is Krishna Anushilanam. Any entity directly related to whom?
But you cannot argue that in some way everything is related to Krishna.
Yes, definitely. In some way, everything is related to Krishna. But that is not called Sambandhi. Sambandhi means that is called as Amsha. Amsha means in some way all of them are Amshas. Sambandhi means directly related to Krishna as given in the Shastra. That is called Sambandha. That Shastra itself establishes a direct relationship between Krishna and that particular entity. That is called Sambandhi. The Jiva is Amsha. Amsha means Krishna himself says, Mama iva Amsho. That the living entities are my Amshas. Therefore, the specific term Sambandhi, anything which is directly, any entity which is directly related to Krishna. That is the condition of that. So now, dear devotees, henceforth, the question is open. In your entire life, if you are able to find one activity which was not included in the definition, then you can always let me know. Many people have tried since last 500 years. They are still trying to find any activity which has not included in the definition. So you can also try to find. But the definition was checked by one very learned Pandit, dear devotees. Very learned Pandit. And he said that this definition is 100% perfect. Would you like to know the name of the Pandit who checked the definition? Nimai Pandit. Nimai Pandit checked the definition. Who is Nimai Pandit? Oh, the greatest authority on Navya Nyaya. He said the definition is 100% perfect. Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhaktir Uttama. Dear devotees. So with this, I would like to pause here. Do we still have time for question and answers? Yes. So now we should have some good discussion, question and answers. We should test the definition from all angles. And I am sitting right here. And you can please.
Two lines are the most this one. Why do we have first two lines?
Wow, oh very nice. Why do we have first two lines? Very nice. Last two lines are the important ones. Why do we have first two lines? We have the first two lines in order to make bhakti free from all other influences. Somebody may be repeatedly serving Krishna with a favorable mood, yet at the same time may have a favorable attitude towards other things. Let me give an example. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there was one devotee named Mukunda. In Mukunda, he has a very specific nature. When he is with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he is a very nice devotee. Wow, he is offering obeisances to the deities, he is chanting Hare Krishna, Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. But when he is with a Ashtanga Yogi, he will start behaving like Ashtanga Yogi. When he is with a Jnana Yogi, he becomes a Jnani, he will start putting like this. When he is with a Karma Yogi, he becomes a Karma Yogi. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, he gave a special name to Mukunda. He said this Mukunda is Khadajatiya. Khadajatiya means with one hand he touches my feet and another hand he grabs my neck actually. I hope you are able to understand. This is his nature. With one hand he touches, very humble, he touches my feet. Another hand he grabs my neck. So I do not like such type of people actually. Why? Because they are performing Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam, but they are Jnana Karma Adi Avritam. Their bhakti has become covered by other philosophy. Which philosophy? Jnana Karma Adi. Whosoever association he is in, he becomes affected by that person. So very important to keep bhakti 100% pure. It's very important to do that. Yes, very important. There are thousands of organizations in the world for all other purposes. Many organizations for serving animals, many organizations for serving old people, many organizations for doing so many other activities in the world. Shouldn't there be one organization for bhakti? Yes or no? Shouldn't there be one organization dedicated to promoting Uttama, pure 100% free of all other influences bhakti? Yes. But when the devotees start doing that, other people they say, well, no, it's also important to do social service. It's also important to do this, that. Yes, it is important. But should it assume primary role over bhakti at any point of time? No. Otherwise our bhakti will become covered. Therefore Rupa Goswami always kept these two conditions in order to ensure that bhakti will remain pure. I hope that satisfies your query. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, thank you so much for a wonderful definition of this word. I just have one question around that Anya Abhilashita. So His Holiness Dhanodhar Maharaj, he writes in his commentary that even a pure devotee sometimes might desire something which is not in connection with the bhakti. For example, in a major distress or something, you might ask Krishna, please help me, right? So he kind of said that's why Rupa Goswami writes not Anya Abhilasha, but Anya Abhilashika. So he says it's a other desire-ness, not the desires. So can you please elaborate a little bit on that?
Very nice. Sorry, it was a grammatical point, so I could not explain it. But since you have asked, it's a grammatical point. Therefore, I will explain. This point was originally made by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Rupa Goswami could have written Anya Abhilash Shunyam. Why did Rupa Goswami add ita? Anya Abhilash ita Shunyam. Because the ita is a suffix itach. The suffix is itach. The cha at the end is removed. It remains ita. Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. Why did he add the suffix ita? Now let me give some examples of ita so that we will understand. Do we know the term tara? What is the meaning of the term tara? Stars. The previous acharya said tarakita. They add ita and say a sky which has just started becoming starry is known as tarakita. I hope you are able to understand. Do we know the term pushpa? What is the meaning of the term pushpa?
Flowers.
The tree has pushpita. It has just started becoming flowery. I hope you are able to understand. What is the meaning of Anya Abhilash? Other desires. Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. This person has just started becoming free of all other desires besides the desires for bhakti. Yeah. So, just as Tarakita means just it has become starry, Pushpita means it has just become flowery. Anya Abhilashita Shunya means the heart has just become free of all other desires. Just become free means some tinge may remain. Rupa Goswami purposely put that because in emergency situations, such as when the devotee's life is in danger, at that point of time the devotee may end up calling out to Krishna out of helplessness and may say, "Oh Krishna, please protect me." Suppose the devotee is walking down the road, suddenly he sees a truck speeding towards him. His reaction may be, "Oh Krishna, oh Bhagwan, please save me." Somebody may say, "Hey, pause here, wait, before the truck hits you. Wait." Weren't you giving a class on Anya Vilashita Shunyam? So why is your desire related now to something other than bhakti? So then he can say, before the truck hits me, I'd like to tell you that Ita means that my heart had just started becoming free of all other desires. That some desires were still allowable. Which desires? Some emergency arises in those cases, some desires to protect one's bhajan, to protect one's bhakti, to protect one's life in order to carry out bhakti. Therefore, instead of saying Anya Abhilash Shunyam, he says Anya Abhilash Ita Shunyam. So I'm very thankful you got out the point. There are many more subtle points in the definition, but you got out the point about the suffix itach. And this is originally the point is given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his Sanskrit commentary on the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Thank you. Your name, Prabhuji? Shampul Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Really appreciate it. Alright. Anybody else? Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, can you clarify the covering, especially for Jnana? I was confused because the example you gave was studying Upanishads or Vedas,
Yeah.
but in our Krishna consciousness, we need to do those things very prominently to know what, like things like bhakti are. So can you clarify which one covers which, or how do we do that?
Right. So, Srila Jiva Goswami says, and I'll repeat his word, Jnanam atra nirbhed brahmanusandhanam na cha tat tatvanusandhanam api. Jnana means pursuing knowledge which leads to an impersonal conclusion. That jnana is known as jnana, which means any knowledge of the nature of aham brahmasmi, I am impersonal Brahman. Tattvamasi, you are that Brahma. Sarvam khalvidam Brahma, everything here is Brahma. What are you, Prabhu? Who are you?
Brahman.
Brahman? And who am I?
Brahman.
So what is happening? Brahma is speaking to Brahmas? Who are all these?
Brahman.
Brahma? Yeah. And after we have realized the truth, what will happen to you? You and me will become what? One. Yes, Prabhu? This sort of knowledge is called Nirbhed Brahmanusandhanam. That impersonal Brahman, to pursue this line of thought is Jnana. So Jnana traditionally refers to Nirbhed Brahma Jnana, knowledge of the impersonal Brahman. That sort of knowledge is not desirable. But knowledge of bhakti, as much as you want, it is very much desirable. So Jiva Goswami says, Na tu bhajaniya tatvanusandhanam. Sometimes what devotees do is devotees say, don't study too much Bhagavatam, otherwise you will become jnani. First, those devotees need to be told what is jnana. Jnana doesn't refer to knowledge of Bhagavatam. Jnana refers to which knowledge? Impersonal knowledge. Not knowledge of bhakti. That knowledge is desirable. I will show you Srila Jiva Goswami's direct words. It was very important to see the direct words of Srila Jiva Goswami. When we see the direct words of the Acharyas, it really strengthens our consciousness. So I will point out the verse. Can you see Anya Vilashita Shunyam? Yes. So Srila Jiva Goswami says something in the commentary. See here. Can you see here? Jnanam atra. Jnana here means Nirbhed Brahmanusandhanam. Like I said, Jnana refers to which knowledge? Knowledge of the impersonal Brahman. He says, see here, na tu, it doesn't refer to bhajaniya tatvanusandhanam api. It does not include bhajan tattva, knowledge of bhakti. Why does it not include knowledge of bhakti? He says, tasya avashya apekshaniyatvat. Such knowledge is definitely expected from the devotee. You are definitely expected to have all that knowledge of bhakti with you. So as much knowledge of bhakti as we can have, we should cultivate. That is our bhajan. So we should cultivate all the possible knowledge of bhakti that we have. It does not fall into the category of which term?
Yeah.
Gyan. So somebody may say, oh, you are very learned in the Bhagavatam, you are Gyani. So that means they need to be told what is Gyan actually. Bhakti Vinod Thakur has a very sharp criticism of such individuals. Bhakti Vinod Thakur says that those devotees who prevent others from reading about bhakti, reading advanced literature in bhakti, Bhakti Vinod Thakur gives a very sharp criticism, calls them Dhenukasur. Believe it or not. He calls them. Would you like to see where he says? Yes. You only read Prabhu. Okay. Bhakti Vinod Thakur's own words. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur in his Krishna Samhita. I will very quickly pull out Krishna Samhita. In Krishna Samhita there is Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. There is a literature named Shri Krishna Samhita. In Krishna Samhita, yep. Okay, Prabhuji, can you read this from subtle discrimination? Please read loudly. Do we have a mic or no? No. Okay. Please read, Prabhu.
Subtle discrimination is extremely important for Vaishnavas. Those who invent social distinctions and preach the unbreakable principles of Vaishnavism while breaking them to suit their needs are said to possess gross discrimination. This gross discrimination takes the form of the ass Denuka. The ass cannot eat the sweet palm tree fruits, and he opposes others' attempts to eat them.
Yes, the ass cannot eat the sweet palm fruits, and he also opposes other people's attempts to eat them. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is going in certain direction. Let's see what direction he is taking.
The purport is that the previous acharyas of the authorized sampradayas have written many spiritual literatures which people with gross discrimination neither understand nor allow others to see. Ask-like devotees who are simply interested in the regulative principles and under the control of gross discrimination are unable to attain a higher platform.
Yeah, can you repeat that last sentence?
Yes. Ask-like devotees who are simply interested in the regulative principles.
Simply interested in?
Regulative principles.
Wow. Why use such a strong language? Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, some devotees are interested only in following some which principles?
Regulative.
They are not interested in attaining the higher principles of Vaishnavism. He calls them what?
Ask.
Not my words, bro. Not my words. Alright? Please. They are unable to attain a higher platform. So this is Dhenukasur. Somebody who himself will not read, and somebody who will not allow others to read. So like this. So many times you may see this. There is a junior devotee, there is a senior devotee. And the junior devotee comes to the senior devotee and says, Prabhu, I have a desire to read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So the senior devotee says, you are not eligible. You should not read. Alright. Then the junior devotee can say, but Prabhu, I have a desire to read. I am very attracted to this literature. No, you cannot read. You are still a neophyte. So, but the senior devotee himself has not read. I hope you are able to understand. Means somebody has himself not tasted the tal fruit and not allowing others to taste it. Such a person is described by Srila Bhakti Vinod. All sort of knowledge for bhajan should be understood by the devotees. No knowledge should be left out. This is the conclusion. Jiva Goswami's own conclusion. But if we do not have the required maturity for a certain topic, then we should not directly get that knowledge. We should hear it from the mouth of a guru. All topics are allowable if heard from whose mouth? Guru's mouth. So certain topics, if we don't have the maturity to understand, then it's not that we are forever barred from hearing them. We should hear them from Guru Mukh, from the mouth of a guru, so that we don't have any doubts when we are hearing those particular topics. So nothing under the sun is disallowed for a devotee. They can have all sorts of knowledge. Jnana Karmadi Anavritti. I hope that clarifies your point. Alright. Do we have time, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Okay, sure, fine.
The initial question is still pending. Which verse is
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita.
Yes. Which person speaks the nearest to the same? Doesn't have.
There is no direct definition of bhakti in the Bhagavad Gita. A definition has two things: the term to be defined and the characteristics. For example, if I say, what is the definition of pi? Pi. You know the mathematical term pi? What is the value of pi? 3.14159261. So see, I said pi is 3.1415. So I say the term to be defined, pi, is equal to the characteristic 3.14159265 or something like that. So that is what a definition should look like. The term to be defined should be there and the characteristics of the term should be there. If you try to do that for Bhagavad Gita, for finding bhakti, you will not find a verse in the Bhagavad Gita. But that definition was given by our Gaudiya Vaishnavacharya, Srila Rupa Goswami. That is the glory of Sri Rupa Goswami. Therefore, his definition of bhakti was able to capture many hearts around the world. Because everything under the sun that you can do for Krishna was included in the definition. Now it is standard understanding amongst ISKCON devotees. Is driving a car bhakti for Krishna? Yes. If you do it for Krishna, is driving a car bhakti? Yes. For Krishna, making a phone call, is it bhakti? Yes. So devotees say, I am doing seva. Like this. I am making a phone call, I am doing seva. Who said this is seva? Where is it given that this is seva? Anupulyena Krishnam Shilanam. Shilanam includes all activities in the body. No activity left out. Alright. Yes.
So just for a clarification, some people may say, maybe just like out of context, may say any activity related to Krishna.
Directly related to.
Right. So what about people who misinterpret and say, Manav Seva is also, Jan Seva is also, Seva to the God, like, making hospitals and, charitable activities and welfare activities and all that. So how do we explain them that it's not directly related to Krishna?
Because in Shastra, Krishna never says that all of them are directly related to him. They are all indirectly related to him. Who are the ones directly related to Krishna? Those who are in the spiritual world. They are the ones who are Krishna's parents, Krishna's children in Dwarka, Krishna's wives, Krishna's relatives. They are the Krishna Sambandhi. But those who have a very indirect connection with Krishna, they are not under the term Sambandhi. Somebody may misinterpret, and people have misinterpreted, but they cannot misinterpret Rupa Goswami. They have their own definitions of bhakti, and they say that Manav Seva is Madhav Seva. If Manav Seva is Madhav Seva, then the question is, where did Krishna say that all Manavs are my direct Sambandhis? Has Krishna anywhere said in Shastra that all human beings are my direct relatives? I need a very specific statement where Krishna says that all human beings are my direct relatives, as good as my father, mother, children. Is there such a statement in Shastra? No. There are statements in Shastra where Krishna says, all cows are dear to me. Therefore, service to cows is service to Krishna. I hope you are able. There is one living entity whom if you serve is Madhav Seva. Gau Seva is Madhav Seva. Says who? Says Krishna himself. Where does it say? Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Now, it's also there in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu commentary. Jiva Goswami points out.
But it all depends on our prabhav, right? Whatever bhava we have inside. If I think of Krishna or serve to a human being also, that is also Krishna.
No. If it doesn't depend on one's bhava, it depends on what Shastra says is Krishna Sambandhi. If it depends on one's bhava, then one will a thief will say my bhava is my stealing is Krishna Seva. Butcher will say my cutting of meat is Krishna Seva. It doesn't depend on one's bhava, because people are very sentimental, and then they will take their bhava anywhere around the universe, and they will say this is Krishna Seva. Therefore,
It still gets very, very subtle. For example,
Yeah.
if we donate for Bhaktivedanta Hospital,
right.
now, it's a hospital for devotees, but also non-devotees. Is it bhakti or not bhakti?
Yes. So let's say we donate to a hospital.
Yes.
Whatever percentage of that money is used directly for promoting Krishna Bhakti. For example, in the hospital there are many activities for promoting Krishna. Many patients come and they are given magazines for Krishna. Many patients come, they are given prasadam. So whatever is used directly in the service of Krishna, that will be counted as bhakti. Whatever is used indirectly is also not bad. It will count as sukriti. What will it count as? Sukriti. So there is no harm in giving, because some portion of it is being used directly for bhakti, some portion of it is being used for sukriti. No problem. Whatever portion is directly Krishna Sambandhi is bhakti. Whatever portion is not directly Krishna Sambandhi is piety, sukriti, which will help one's bhakti.
But the definition of Sambandhi is just, you are putting it very strictly within the
Yes.
relatives only.
Yes, yes.
But
Like-
that will just, prohibit everybody from doing all kind of charitable works.
Yes.
So
That will not prevent from doing charity. But that will prevent people from calling charity equal to bhakti. I hope you are able to understand. That will prevent people from calling charity directly equal to bhakti. Charity is sukriti. It must be done. In Bhagavad Gita it is said, yagya, dan and tap always purify people. But it is never said that yagya, dan and tap is directly equal to bhakti.
Some forms of charity are direct bhakti.
If you give directly to Krishna Artham Anushilanam. If you give to a Vaishnava, Krishna Sambandhi Anushilanam. If you give to a qualified person who is serving Krishna Sambandhi Anushilanam. But if you give to somebody who is qualified but not directly related to Krishna, then it becomes Sukriti. Sukriti
But
means,
that person also has Krishna's Amsa.
Amsha is different, Sambandhi is different. I am drawing very strict line so that nobody will misinterpret Rupa Goswami. I must do that. Otherwise tomorrow the butcher will say, I am related to Krishna, give me your money. The thief will say, I am related to Krishna, give me your money.
But Prabhu, Amsha, we say, this, when you say this is my son, you can say this is my Amsa also, and the son is also a relative. So what is the difference between Amsa and Sambandhi? It's still kind of the same explanation.
Therefore, Krishna says Vibhinna Amsha, separated parts. Vibhinna Amsha means they are separated away from me. Many of them have turned away from Krishna in the material world. Are they directly Krishna's relatives or are they indirectly related to Krishna? They don't have sambandha towards Krishna. Sambandha is established at the time of Diksha. At the time of initiation, what is established? Sambandha. Direct connection with Krishna is established. Otherwise, we should say everyone in the material world is already initiated. We don't say that because they don't have Krishna Sambandha. Krishna Sambandha is established at the time of initiation. I was coming back to the point, service of cows is directly service to Krishna. Jiva Goswami says in commentary to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, please repeat after me the verse. Gavam kanduyanam kuryat Gograsam go pradakshinam Goshu nityam prasannasu Gopalopi prasidati. Jiva Goswami says, Gavam kanduyanam kuryat, scratch the cow's body. Go grasam, feed, fodder. Go pradakshinam, what is pradakshina? Circumambulating. Goshu nitya prasannasu, once the cows are happy, Gopalopi prasidati. Who is happy? Gopal is also happy. Service to cows, directly equal to service to Krishna. Established directly by Srila Jiva Goswami. So this is where Shastra says what is directly Krishna Sambandhi. I hope you are able to understand. This is where Shastra draws a dividing line, gives a special importance to one specific living entity. Which living entity? That is called clearly Krishna Sambandhi. Now you may say, why is Shastra discriminating? Yes, because when you have relatives, when you say that something is directly related, something will be not directly related. It is the nature of a personality. Once you have personality, you will have somebody who is close to the personality, somebody who is far away from the personality. If you want everything to be on the same platform, don't look for Bhagwan, look for impersonal Brahman. It is equal to all living entities. But if you want to have a personality will have choices. A personality will have preferences. A personality will have bias. He will have some favorites, some not so favorites, some relatives, some not so much relatives. So that is what you get when you have a personality. If you want to have everything on an equal platform, then you are knocking on the wrong door. You should knock on the door of the impersonal Brahman. So I hope that clarifies. Alright? Okay, thank you very much.
So I hope you all got a flavor for the power of our Shastras and the content of them when we can properly understand them and have someone who can nicely and properly explain them to us also. So we've been fortunate to be hearing Prabhu last 2 days also. I posted some of those lectures in our WhatsApp group. Very, very wonderful lectures. I encourage you all to hear them when you get a chance. And we hope that Prabhuji will come back and give us much, much more of this nectar from our scriptures and help us really understand the essence and how to really apply it in our lives. So we're very, very grateful. Please praise Hari Parsad Prabhu for coming here and spending some time with us and giving us the wealth we have in our tradition. So thank you very much, Hari Parsad Prabhu. Let's again thank him with 3 loud Hari Bols. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! So Prasadam will be served outside at 7 o'clock. We'll have Shayanati, so please come back for that. Please don't honor Prasadam in the temple room today. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.